And good morning, everybody. It is Wonderful Wednesday with Melinda Iannone. Now, Melinda, I actually met you pre-COVID. Do believe you were one of the first people I met who was a hairdresser, cosmetologist, and it's so wonderful because you have worked on my hair. I'm very appreciative because the curly locks, they take some working through, don't they?
Yes, they do. I say they have a personality of their own.
Wonderful. Now, Melinda, you've recently moved to another salon. You're in Holly Springs. Tell us, tell us about you. Tell us what you love to do, because I do get to hear from you, but not everybody does. And I know you have some fabulous tips and tricks to share with everybody.
Yes, so I moved from Salon Lofts and Cary and Crossroads to Image Studios in Holly Springs. And I just moved here in May. It's a brand new plaza, outdoor plaza here. It's really nice. It's a luxury salon setup. And my space is a little bit bigger. And I just love it. I love being on my own. I've been in the business for probably 35 years or so.
Wow.
And yeah, it's something when people say, what else could you see yourself doing? I'm like, I don't really know. Like I love being creative. I love helping people feel better about themselves and help create a look that's going to fit their lifestyle and their budget, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, hair is a big part of somebody's personality.
and their confidence level and how they feel about themselves. And I also want to make sure not only am I going to create a look for you, whether that be a haircut or a color. I specialize more in lived in color, custom blondes, gray blending. But I also want to make sure you understand how to take care of that when you go home, because that's key. Sometimes my clients will come back to me and be like, my hair's a little on the dry side, say summertime, they're out at the pool a lot. Well, are you using a leave-in conditioner? Are you turning down the heat on your styling tools? Once you leave my salon, there's maintenance with your hair in order to keep that looking nice, and I want to make sure that everyone is educated on that part of it as well.
Yeah, and with 35 years of experience, I expect you've come across a lot. Now, I'm going to ask this question because it just popped into my head.
Okay.
Have you ever come across anybody with green hair from the, chlorine and things like that from a swimming pool?
You know what? Not in a long time. No, my clients may say like, the kids, like like the kids from like, maybe 10 to 15 that are on swim teams, they get into those highly chlorinated pools. Yes, that sometimes can happen. And I will, educate them on how to prevent that from happening, using a detoxifying shampoo. Like I love the Malibu, I have chlorine and swimmers eliminator. And you do that and then put a leave-in conditioner. Again, it's all about protecting your hair before you get in the pool and after you get out of the pool. You know, I always tell my clients to relate it to like, you wanna lose weight and you're going to the gym, right? But then you go home and you're gonna still have those snacks and cookies and not really pay attention to what you're eating. And then you go back to the gym and you just don't see why you're not losing weight. It's all relevant there, right? You want to, once you leave, you want to know how to take care of that so you can keep that hair healthy for a long period of time.
So what you're saying is that actually, so let's just think about this, because I used to do a lot of, I used to be a beauty therapist, and so it was
Okay.
oils and with your face, and so you're saying do that to your hair as well, because people might think it's like dead, but what would
Yes.
you say to that? Is it like the living dead? What is it?
Well, you know what too is our hair is already dead. It cannot repair itself. I always explain hair is like a rubber band, and once that hair has lost the elasticity from the stress of the styling tools or the stress of how you dry your hair with a towel, like I tell people to blot their hair, not go like this because that causes friction. And over time, more of that friction, think of your hair as a rubber band, it starts to fray and just look. That's why you start to see all those little pieces. People say, "Oh, this is frizz." Well, really, what it is you got a lot of breakage from something. Let's figure out how you're getting that, and let's repair it from continuing to happen. A lot of people that have ponytails in their hair. I see a lot of damage with my blondes right here. And I said, "Oh, are you wearing a ponytail every day?" "Yes." "How are you wrapping it?" And they showed me and how tight it is. That causes a lot of friction and damage. And over time, and sometimes people will be like, "Well, maybe I shouldn't color my hair anymore. Maybe it's that." No, it's how you're maintaining, you know? So it's
So
yeah,
that's the thing. So you say, because when I get my hair washed, you're right. It's like like that
you
blotted.
want to blot it dry. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
the ends
I
you
wrap
want to
my hair.
squeeze it really well.
I put a towel like a turban on my head.
Right.
Is
But
that wrong?
right. And sometimes I'll ask some clients, "How do you dry your hair?" And they're like, "Oh, I tip it upside down and put the towel in." And
Yeah.
just think of what that does,
So
to your
actually,
hair.
so it's better to go like that. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then so okay, so I do, because my hair's long, I tie it up at night when I go to sleep. So you're saying like a silk scrunchie? What would be better?
A silk scrunchie would be good. Yeah. And also I recommend like the silk pillowcases because they help, you know, kind of cut back on the amount of static that may be in the air. And, if you're a tosser and a turner, then your hair wakes up all crazy. So I like to recommend the silk pillowcases.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I believe they're good for the skin as well.
And also another thing that I highly recommend, which I'm going to start having here inside my studio, are the shower head filters. Go back to the water. I mean, a lot of times people say, "Well, I have a water softener on my shower head or in my house." Well, the water softener, think about that. It's just softening the water. It's not eliminating the iron and the minerals. And some areas have higher pHs. So you want to be careful with that as well. So I'm going to start carrying shower head filters that people can replace in their bathroom. And then you just change the filter out once every 3 months. And that's going to help your skin feel a lot better because it's not as drying and your hair is going to look much better.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm excited to get those
Yeah,
in.
no, I bet that's a really good idea, and it's true. You okay? So sometimes when I go abroad or wherever I am, different places, my hair is like really soft and fluffy, and it's like, why is it so soft? And I can't do anything with it. So what is it? Is there what is the water consistency? What's going on there?
I'm not sure what it is, but different waters, different pHs could make it really soft and just make the hair have a different look to it. So I'm not sure what's in it or what. I've noticed that myself, but
Yeah, so
yeah.
is it hard water or soft water? I know people say, "Oh, it's because of the hard water here or the soft water," and I'm like, going, "Okay,
Yeah, it could
right."
be soft water. Also hard water, that's really hard on the hair. Some people that have well water, some people's wells are great, but others are not as good. And you could feel the hair is very dry and kind of a brittle feeling. And even when they use the best of products, they're still going to notice that. And I also recommend not shampooing as often. The days of shampooing and drying our hair every single day, with the amount of you know, times
Dry.
you want to come in and get your color and all that, it just creates more dryness. So I
Right.
always say to, wash it once every couple days.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on how sort of like hot and sweaty you get. I used to in England, I used to wash my hair every day, but that would be because I'd like run, oh my gosh, miles and miles every day. So I was literally really hot and sweaty, so I had to.
That makes sense. No, I get that. I get that. I get that.
I didn't feel clean unless that was also washed, because I was literally, as I say, sweating from everywhere. Plus, I would run in the rain and it would get drenched anyway.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
bit
Yep.
bit like the weather today. It's it's very rainy. Now it's so tell me, out of interest, okay, out of everything that you love to do, who is your ideal person? Is it now? I'm going to throw some scenarios out for you. Is it somebody who says they sit there and they go, "Do your magic, do whatever you want to do," or is it somebody who does give you specific what they want? Which one suits you best?
You know what? I think I would gravitate more to someone in the middle. I like someone to have an idea. So, and I like photos. I want to see photos. And I go through a very thorough consultation. Like I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, because I want to make sure when you leave the studio that you are very happy with your hair. So I'm going to ask you questions like, what do you like about your haircut? What don't you like about your haircut? When's the last time you colored it? What kind of color are you looking for? Subtle, dramatic? And then we look at photos, and then I kind of will pick apart the photos, especially the photos with the layers. And I say, oh, do you realize the shortest layers right here? They're not seeing that. They're like, oh, I didn't notice it had layers. So I like to kind of go through it because sometimes people only see a piece of the haircut that they like. They're not seeing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's true. And then what about coloring from as you said, from somebody like me so I must be about 90% gray or white. I have no idea. I just know I don't like it. So I am not
Right.
ready. Okay, I'm not ready. But every so often people will see me with like a little halo. All right. It's like this little white an inch because it grows so quickly. I have to have it done every 4 weeks, my roots.
Yes. Yep.
Now, how long, what's the process? I mean, I suppose it will depend on how quickly somebody's hair grows, but what do you just walk us through a process that you would do with somebody?
So if someone that comes in for root color, they're going to want to have to come in like every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how fast their hair grows. Everyone's hair grows a little bit differently. Mine, I got to color every 2.5 to 3 weeks because I start seeing that gray, and I don't like that as well. And then, but there's different ways that you can combat the gray now because we have so many different color lines that will assist us in what we're looking for. So for instance, if you want a softer grow out, then I recommend doing like a demi color. So on your gray, it doesn't cover the gray completely. It just kind of softens it. So then that regrowth line is a little bit softer, especially with women that are mature and they're not liking that harsh line, especially like ourselves, which we have dark hair and then the white roots. So that kind of like a softer transition. And I always recommend maybe like some face framing highlights to kind of just soften that a little bit to let you, so you're able to wear that, that service a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, when somebody does transition, do they literally have to grow? I mean, I just couldn't do it.
No, you don't have to do anything different. It's just like when you come in, next week, it's like, okay, Claudia, this is what we talked about. Do you want to try it? Okay, we'll try it. You wear it for like a month or two. And as you're seeing the hair grow out, what the grays look like, it's not completely covered. It's almost like tinted window type of look. You know what I mean? It's just softer. And then if you decide like after 2 months or so, like, I'm not really loving this idea. I want to go back to color. You can always do that. That's what I love the beauty about color. You're not stuck. You could always change it, That's what being creative is all about.
Yeah, yeah. And then have you done some really crazy colors,
I have a few clients. I do some crazy colors that I enjoy doing, but that's not something I want to focus on or specialize in. They're like maybe my regular clients' daughters or something that they're like they have this idea, and I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I'm not someone that wants to do the rainbow colors and all that kind of thing. That's just not me. Or my specialty, I should say, what I want to focus on. I'm more
Yeah.
like the lived-in blondes. You come in for highlights, and that's going to last you maybe, a couple months as opposed to every 8 weeks, So I like more the lived-in colors, the lived-in highlights. That's usually my clientele that I kind of cater towards.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so what about cutting? Do you like to do, because I mean, every so often, we'll come in with there'll be the pixie cut, there'll be
Yes.
the bob, the this, the that, the sharp Chanel look. It's like what's that like for you?
Again, I stick to more like the classic looks, like yes, I do have a variation of pixies, the bob is always going to be in style. There's so many, people think in their mind, I want a bob, but they're like, oh, I don't want it to be this and this. There's so many variations of that. And that's again where photos come into play. And then we can go through that. The long layered looks, now people are starting to kind of, play around with a little bit of the bangs. Not everybody's a great candidate for bangs. And I'm really honest with someone. Like when they say, hey, what do you think about this? I'll be like, okay, I think this might be a better option for you, knowing your lifestyle and how you're going to maintain your hair. And I always ask too, are you able to duplicate your hairstyle when you go home? Are you going to want to invest in time in styling your hair? And if they don't, and they show me a look that I know it's going to take a lot of work, I'd be like, you know what? From what I hear, this is not what you want to do when you go home. So maybe this isn't the best for you. Like, let's find something that, fits. Some people just want to be like, I don't want to do anything to my hair.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like me.
Okay. Some people love spending time on their hair.
Yeah. So it's so I mean, again, it's quite interesting. Have and I am going to be cheeky. I'm going to ask this because the beauty is that hair grows back.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in your earlier days, did you ever have one of those a story? I'm not going to say it's a disaster because there's never a fail. There's only ever learning. But have you got something that is like, oh, I really learned from that you don't mind sharing?
Yes. I think my biggest one that I'll never forget is when perms were really big, right? And you have someone that has pin straight hair and now they want curly hair and they show you a photo and you've gone through the consultation and you do the hair and it comes out beautiful and they look at it and they have shock face and they're like, oh my God, because people with fine straight hair are used to a very sleek look. Now
Mhm.
you got all this curl and vavoom, and they're like, "Oh my God," you know. And I kind of compare it to when you see a dress in a magazine or online, and you're like, "Oh my God, I want that outfit," and you go to the mall and you try it on, and it's nothing what it looked like on the model, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a learning curve. That's another thing why I do such thorough consultations because I'll explain to someone, okay, your hair is this. And when we move into this is what it's going to feel like for you in the beginning. And I always, you may or may not love this haircut in the beginning, but wear it for a little bit and then see, just so, we've covered all the bases.
Well, and you're quite right because when I've had my hair straightened, it's like gone, oh, I look completely different. And actually, I did when I first thought, oh, shall I go grey? Shall I? I got a white wig actually, just to see what it
Yes.
was like. And actually, the wig is gorgeous. It's really luxurious and it's really long. And it's like, so actually, I look okay in it. But I know I wouldn't look like that really. Um, but I mean, I just wonder. I'm curious. So I wonder if that could be something actually, if ever. Um, sort of like perms came back in, you had a curly wig, so you could just try on people and go,
Yes.
what are you going to look like? Are you ready for that?
Well, you know what? Since AI is so big right now, I mean, they've had apps
Oh
in the
yeah,
past where you could, you know, download and plug in, your photo. And now with AI, I'm sure they have something like that. So you can kind of get a visual effect of what it's going to look like for you and if you're going to like it.
yeah. No, it's true. It's true. But I mean, again, I don't think it gives you exact unless you have actually got it. You know,
No, you're right. You're
it,
right.
it's because it's only 2D. It's not three. It's not 3D. Uh,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
yeah, but
Exactly.
I mean, I remember even having a perm on my hair and it had a corkscrew. And it looked, I mean, I remember I loved it. It looked gorgeous. Yeah. It was like really, every single ringlet. Uh,
Yes. Yep.
so
And humidity also takes a play in hair. You know what I mean? Especially with curly hair. So I educate you on how to take care of your hair and what kind of products to use because I'm from upstate New York. So the weather and the humidity was totally different than here. I mean, I used to smooth my hair a lot up there, but down here I don't, because when you have 100% humidity, that curly hair starts to get back to curl, and then it just looks like a disaster. So I just let it go. I don't do anything with it.
So what products have you got in your salon? What have you
You know,
got?
right now I have been using Amika products, and they're a big hit with all my clients. And when I choose a product to bring into my studio, I try it on my own hair first,
Mm-hmm.
because curly hair tends to take on the feel of everything. I'm sure you can relate. So sometimes if you were to use a mousse in your hair, some mousses are going to feel crunchy or give you like that wet, piecey, hard look,
Mm-hmm.
or the gel is too hard, or the hairspray is this, or maybe each product in the line all has a different fragrance. And what I like about Amika is it's a line that can be used for any type of hair. Um, when you style your hair, it's not always one product is going to do it all. You know, like for my hair, I'll put in a root lift spray to give me some lift in here, and then I'll put the curl gel on my ends and then diffuse it, and then I'll just use a little bit of hairspray. So that's, again, sometimes people will be like, you know, what one product can I use? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not just one product. So I always suggest, like, okay, I would, if you're gonna, you know, invest in one product today, I would do this. And then next time when you come back, build on it. And these products, the shampoos and conditioners, they last a good 6, 8 months. We have our holiday kits out already. And they come in with some, you know, like this one's just a shampoo and conditioner, and then it has 2 other products in there that are kind of like free. So they're bundled nicely at a nice discount.
Oh
And
yeah.
that goes really well. People love it, you know?
Well, yeah, because they're going to use it. You
They're
know.
going to use it. And when they see the difference on their hair, they're like, "Oh, wow." You know, because again, if when I do a color on someone's hair, I really make sure you are using something professional. Because if you're using drugstore shampoo and conditioner, yes, it's going to say for color treated hair or for highlighted hair. And that's all in marketing. I call that greenwashing. But when you turn that bottle around and you look at the ingredients that are in there and the pH of some of those ingredients, your hair is not going to be as nice, and it's the color is not going to be as shiny, the texture isn't going to be as nice. You'll see a big difference. And sometimes people are like, well, price point is this, and I like the drugstore. I'm like, yeah, but the drugstore, you're probably buying that stuff once a month, right? Because it doesn't lather, and you got to keep adding more in the shower, and you know, trying to get it to work for you. Where the Amika products, they buy maybe once every 6, 8 months. So it's you know, when they see that, they're like, oh.
Yeah. I
And I
might
always say
get one
protect.
of those packs from you.
Yeah, and I always say, you know what, protect your investment. You know, you invested in your service and your hair. You know, you want to protect that when you go home to maintain that.
Yeah, I know. I love your tagline. What is it again, Linda?
Invest in your hair is the crown you never take off.
There you go. And it's so
Yeah.
true. So honestly, thank you. It's been great having you on here, Melinda. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Look after your hair, and you can find Melinda in Holly Springs. We'll get your links and things in the comments.
Okay.
So it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard, and it's goodbye
Thank
from
you.
Linda. Take care, everybody.